Hello, this is Greyfright's top 10 best Doctor Who stories. I've previously done a video called Greyfright's top 10 worst Doctor Who stories and start from number 10. But I'll be doing a number 10 of this, and then number 9 of worst, then number 9 of best, and then just go that way. This is a bit late. I was going to do one like every week, but I've been busy, so yeah. Number 10 of the top 10 best Doctor Who's was difficult to decide. It was a hard decision, but I've came to a decision, and I told you in the previous video what that was. It is Claws of Axos. So yeah, Claws of Axos, Doctor Who. This is number 10 on my list. Yeah, there was two others that I would have put as this, but Claws of Axos just narrowly beat them. The other two that could have possibly been number 10 were either Time Warrior or Inferno, but personal reasons, I prefer Claws of Axos. Claws of Axos is written by Bob Baker and Dave Martin. It's produced by Barry Letts and directed by Michael Ferguson. It is a story with the third Doctor, John Pertwee, and Jo Grant, Katie Manning. It also has Unit in it. Plot. A spaceship lands on Earth seeking help from the humans. The Doctor and Unit enter and discover the Axons, who offer Axonite in return for staying on the planet while they refuel. The ship also, on board the ship is the Master, who is captive, and the Axons aren't what they seem. The Axons are a single creature, a massive parasite creature that wants to absorb all of the Earth's nutrients with the help of the Master. And then, the Doctor. They plan to use the powers of time travel, but the Doctor manages to end them, basically by putting them in a time loop. So basically it's a pretty good plot. It's generic invasion plot, but it's a really good story. Yeah, so that's plot. Things I liked about this episode. The effects of the spaceship. It's kind of like bad, but for its time it's quite impressive, like with the Axon appearing on the screen and the government people like scared shitless really. It makes a nice horror thing, and I do like horror things in Doctor Who. I think horror and like scares can be pretty good in Doctor Who. The military acting's pretty good, like all the different military, like all the soldiers and stuff, they have a really good military acting. It's really good. The American guy is good, Mr. Filer. Yeah, I think he's a good actor in this. The random hobo in the first episode that dies, he's pretty funny, just walking around on the bike and stuff. There's a good way to explain like bad weather, because in the episode, at the beginning of filming the episode, there was bad weather on set. So to explain that, they basically rewrote the script a little and said that there was freak weather because of the ship landing, which I thought was pretty good, a good way to handle it really. The whole UFO landing gives a pretty good like helplessness in a way, because they can't really do anything when they fire the rocket and it just doesn't work. The setting on the ship is really good, like really well made, I think, for its time. The Master isn't really a major villain. which is quite interesting. He's very toned down in a way. I like how he's basically a slave to the Axons for a duration of the story. There is a scene I like with the Master where he jumps onto an army truck and hypnotizes the driver. I think that was a pretty awesome scene, and how he takes control. I like in one of the scenes, two filers, because one's a copy made by Axon. I like that fight. There's a fight scene and it's very good. The Axon costumes are brilliant. When the Doctor puts the Axonite in the light accelerator, it's just awesome what happens towards the end of the episode, really. It's just a good ending to an episode. It's pretty awesome when the Doctor talks to the Axon, and basically the Axon tells them the evil plan. It's just a really good scene. Also, when the Master's in the light accelerator room and in the TARDIS, I think the camera angles are really good in that scene. So I think the direction and the camera work in those scenes were just brilliant. The Master working on the TARDIS is pretty awesome, just casually walking about, talking to himself. I think each episode, like episode 1, 2 and 3, all have really good cliffhangers. And the organic ship, when it's having a meltdown, is just a brilliant scene. It's the effects and the setting and the whole monsters going nuts and the Doctor and Joe running through it is just epic. And a final note, I liked towards the end of episode 4, the Doctor, for the final cliffhanger, the Doctor says, all I am is a galactic yo-yo. I think that's a brilliant saying, and it's an awesome ending to an episode. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the things I liked about this episode. But there's a lot, and it's really, really good, considering it has some iffy moments. Things I disliked. There wasn't many things I disliked about this episode, but because it's really, really good. But there's a few things that I just didn't quite like. The minister bloke, Mr. Chin, or whatever his name is. In the first episode, he's a really bad actor and really doesn't really improve throughout the entire thing. And he's basically there just for no real reason apart from to just create this silly drama thing. And it's just annoying. In episode 1, Joe screaming for some reason. I know there's the Axon monster, but then she faints. Scream and faint, scream and faint. It's a pattern that happens in Doctor Who, but I just don't see why she should have screamed and fainted. Shouldn't she have ran? Fair enough, scream and ran. Scream and run. But not scream and faint. Anyway, the scientists in the episode, Sir George and the other bloke that I can't remember his name, they just seem like real, if you pardon the phrase, dickheads towards the Doctor for no real reason apart from the Doctor is scientifically better than them. In the light accelerator room in episode 3, Filer's obviously hit unconscious or in a coma or something, but no one in the room notices until the Axon points him out and basically says he must have fell into a coma. But he's been lying there in the room for a good however long the scene's been going on, and everyone had a look around the room, and yet until the Axon goes, he's over there, they don't notice. Also, I don't like the soundtrack. Because throughout this story, the soundtrack, it gets sometimes a little bit repetitive and annoying, which is a thing I didn't quite like about Jon Pertwee era. I thought a lot of the soundtrack of the Jon Pertwee era just was rushed, repetitive, and annoying, which is a thing that lets down a lot of Jon Pertwee's things. But this episode is brilliant. When the Doctor and Jo are basically leaving the ship while it's having a meltdown, Jo is having this stupid fit in the ship while it's like going nuts. It's just basically, I can't do it, I can't do it. I swear to God the Doctor slaps her once and basically tells her to shut up and go, which is a really well handled thing, but it's just annoying how she's just going, I can't do it kind of thing. It's just annoying. And when Sir George is basically trying to dismantle the time accelerator that's about to explode, he wears radiation protection, and basically in episode 4 it's just 2 gloves and a mask that doesn't even cover his face. That is basically his radiation protection. Nothing. So yeah, that's basically all the bad points. But so there was a few things I disliked, but there was more things I liked, and it is a really good episode personally. So I would give it a rating of about I'd say a 7 out of 10, because the bad points are a little bit annoying, but it is a really good episode, and that's why it's on my 10 out of 10. Plus, it's a classic, really, and it's something I grew up with, because I watched it on UK TV Gold when I was a kid, and it's just stuck in my mind since now. I just like it. As well as this, I'm going to give you a bit of trivia about Claws of Axos. Originally, it was going to be a 7-part story, but it's only a 4-part story, and it was originally going to be called Vampire in Space. But because of production cuts and because of the weather and stuff, they had to rewrite it, and it got reduced down to 4 episodes. I think it would have been interesting to see it as 7 episodes, but I think it's good the way it was. I wouldn't want to have dragged it out any more than it was already. But yeah, it would have been interesting to see it as 7 episodes. Even though with a lot of long episode stories, I can't just sit and watch them forever because they just get annoying. But you know. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Really good episode. I'd suggest anyone to watch it. It is on my top 10. It is number 10. And stay tuned, because the next one will be number 9 on my worst, which is Doctor Who Christmas Carol. I hate that episode so much. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That'll be whenever I get the time to watch it and review it. Dear God, help me. The next one on the review is Brain of Morbius for the good, for best stories, which will be number 9. So yeah, I'll get you back. We'll catch you later with those 2, Christmas Carol and Brain of Morbius, which should be uploaded eventually, one after the other. But until then,
you ain't got no pancake mix! You ain't got no pancake mix!
this bit will be cut.